morning, and welcome to Reading Workshop with Miss Rubin. Today, we are going to focus on some really important topics that are going to help us retell stories that we read together or by ourselves. So, we've read many books already together in first grade, and some have been really awesome, some we didn't like so much, but I want to hear you guys. I want you guys to think and pair and share, turn and talk to a partner. What have we read together so far, and what books have been your favorite? Take a moment to turn and talk to a partner. And as students are turning and talking, they use a special accountable talk chart that is posted near the rug in the classroom, and they use these prompts to further their discussion. There are questions like, can you tell me more? This reminds me of the time where this happened. Can you give me an example? I agree with blank because blank. I disagree with blank because blank. This helps our students with listening and speaking skills, and it helps us further along down the line when we have to discuss our books. And it's especially helpful for our opinion unit that is coming up. So once students finish turning and talking, we come back together, and I will name the teaching point for the day. So today, friends, we are going to work on sequencing a story. Sequencing a story. That's our topic of the day. And we have our sequence words that we've practiced already so many times. We've used these sequence words in many occasions. And today especially, we're going to use them to organize our story. And I'm going to reveal what story we're going to organize in a moment. But before we begin, I just want to refresh our memory of our special sequencing song. We have a really awesome song that we've been singing together that can help us with our sequence words. First I get up out of bed, then I go brush my teeth, next I go and put my clothes on, last I leave with mommy. So we know first, then, next, and last. But today I'm also going to add another word because in some stories we need that extra step. So the new word that we're going to work with today is after. You guessed it, that's the word that's not in our song. So we are going to pay very close attention to that word after because it just adds another step before the end. And when we sequence a story, sometimes we need more than 4 steps. So looking at our sequencing hand, we go first, next, then, what's that word that we haven't practiced? After. Good job. We'll get some practice in with that today. And last. Some friends like to use finally, and that's okay. We can work on that spelling together. But on our pinky, we have the word last. All right, now that we have gone over our sequencing words and our sequencing song, let's try to apply our sequencing words to organizing one of our favorite stories together. I heard a lot of friends sharing about the story, The Recess Queen. Does that ring a bell? All right, showing your signal of agreement if that rings a bell for you. Lots of excitement. Okay. So today, you guys are going to help me sequence the story, The Recess Queen, because then you are going to do some sequencing on your own. Do you guys think you can do it? All right, I think we can do it too. I'm going to need some help organizing all of the events of the story that I have in my hands. I don't really know what order the story goes in, and if I just put the pictures anywhere, will the story make sense if I retell it? No, so I have to be very careful about remembering what comes first, what happens next, what happens then. What's this word again? After. Good job. And last. So how many steps do I have in all? If I look at my hand, that can help me. 5 steps for my hand, for my 5-finger sequencing strategy. Good job. So let's get started sequencing the story The Recess Queen so that when you guys organize the snowy day together, I revealed my secret, when you start organizing the story that we will be working on together, you will know exactly what to do. Ready? Okay. So I'm going to show you guys the events of the story, and you're going to tell me which one comes first. So remember, Mean Jean was the recess queen, but somebody moved into town. So taking a look at the pictures, what happens first in the story? Awesome job. My friend said that first they show Mean Jean not being so nice to her friends in the schoolyard. Good job. Can I have another volunteer for the next sequence word? For next. Good job. We have a new student. We have a new student who comes to the class, and she gets greeted by all of her new friends, and Mean Jean doesn't look so happy. I wonder why she doesn't look so happy. Who can help me with the next step? Then, what happens after that? Then, good job. Then we see that Mean Jean is playing in the schoolyard and she's not being so kind to her friends. She looks very upset when the new student seems to be having fun, and that makes Mean Jean upset because she's used to ruling the schoolyard. Good job. After, that's our next step. Good job for noticing that new word. After that, Mean Jean realizes that the new student isn't so scared of her. She's not afraid at all, in fact. She's having so much fun without Mean Jean, and she's not paying Mean Jean any attention. She's having her own fun. And that shows Mean Jean that she can have fun too, that she's able to make friends too. So last, what do we have left? Mean Jean and the new student are playing together. Excellent job, friends. You were able to use your 5-finger sequence strategy, and you were able to use the pictures of the story to organize the sequence of the story in which the story occurred. I'm very proud of you guys. Kiss your brains. Excellent job. Are we ready for our independent task? Awesome. Me too. Today we are going to take a look at the story, The Snowy Day. And before we begin, we're going to take a quick picture walk to remind us of the events in the story, because you guys are going to go back to your desks and organize the story the same way Miss Rubin did at your tables. The Snowy Day. Let's take a picture walk. We've read this book many times together, so we will just take a picture walk to remind us what we're looking for. All right, and during this time, the teacher will be discussing and retelling with the students what happened in the story. So one day, Peter woke up and looked out the window and saw snow. Next, he put on his snowsuit and went outside, walked in the snow, crunch, crunch, crunching. He dragged his feet and made a track in the snow. Then he started hitting the trees with a stick he found. And what happened after that? The snow fell down onto Peter's head. Looks like Peter's up to something else. Let's see. After that, he decided to join the big boys in the snowball fight and made a smiling snowman and made snow angels. He then pretended he was a mountain climber and went all the way up and all the way down. After that, he decided to collect some snow and put it in his pocket for the next day. Mama undressed him and got him ready for bed, and he thought all about the fun he had in the snow that day. But then he realized that he put a snowball in his pocket and it didn't seem to be there anymore. Remember, we talked about snow turning into water. Good job, it melted. So while he was sleeping, he dreamed about a sunny, sunny day that the sun melted all the snow away. But when he woke up, at last the snow was still there and the snow was still falling. And finally, last, he called to his friend across the hall and they went playing in the snow together. The end. So at your tables, friends, you have some cutouts of some pictures of the snowy day, and we are going to use this template to write down our sequence words and paste in our pictures of the snowy day in order in which the events occurred. We are sequencing our story just like Miss Rubin did with the Recess Queen. And I will put our sequencing hand in the middle of the room so that everyone can remember each step. And all of the vocabulary words are around the room. Miss Rubin will come around and circulate and see if anybody needs help. But I think we can do it. Ready to rock? Ready to roll. Awesome job. Thank you guys for listening.